Hello everyone, this is Grace. It is October the 29th, 2023, and we are continuing our study on the Nazarite Vow. We left off at Numbers 6, verse 13. So let's continue. And this is the law of the Nazarite, when the days of his separation are fulfilled. So everything that we read in the previous video, all of that applied to the actual process of the Nazarite vow. And again, I want to point out that there is no actual vow. All you need to do is separate yourself. There's no time limit given. There's no instructions given whatsoever other than what you need to separate yourself from. There's no words that need to be said. Just stop eating from the vine, the grape tree. This word here is, it implies that it's the grape, and then this is the from the tree or something like that. I'm not sure, but if you look these words up, then you will come away with the understanding that it is from the grape. So you just stop eating from this tree, the grapevine, and don't cut your hair. And you're good, basically. And this is the law of the Nazarite, when the days of his separation are fulfilled. He shall be brought unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. So it goes to the temple. And he shall offer his offering. This is actually kind of nice, because they're usually very vague. They'll say something like, he should go before the Lord. You guys remember the same old words that they always use, just as vague as they could possibly be. But at least they're specific here. And he shall offer his offering unto the Lord, one he-lamb of the first year without blemish for a burnt offering, and one ewe-lamb of the first year without blemish for a sin offering, and one ram without blemish for peace offerings. I didn't check to see if that was plural or not, but it's okay, let's check it together. Let's just see. Could just be a typo. No, it is a plural. That apostrophe O right there means that they wrote it as plurals. As a plural. One ram without blemish for peace offerings. So they just made another mistake there. And a basket of unleavened bread. I guess they had to keep up the image here. Let's see. Let's make sure this is unleavened bread. I don't usually pay much attention to these offerings when I go through. I just kind of skip by them. Okay, so it is actually unleavened bread. What? Of greedily devouring for sweetness? Properly? Sweetness? How is unleavened bread supposed to be sweet? Sweet that is not soured or bittered with yeast, especially in unfermented cake or loaf, or the festival of Passover. That's not my understanding of unleavened bread, but that's okay. A basket of unleavened bread, because I actually looked for sweetness of bread in there before, couldn't find it before. A basket of unleavened bread, cakes, and fine flour mingled with oil, and wafers of unleavened bread, anointed with oil, and their meat offering and their drink offering. The unleavened bread is the meat offering. I don't get it. Hold on. Okay, well, whatever. And the priest shall bring them before it's just all made up anyway. It's not worth spending a whole lot of time on. And the priest shall bring them before the Lord, and shall offer his sin offering and his burnt offering. Where is the sin? And they reversed it. They said burnt offering up here first, and then they turned it around and said sin offering. They have there's no continuity. It's just, and he shall offer the ram for a sacrifice of peace offerings. Again, plural. Unto the Lord. Let me have drink offerings up here too. I just have to point it out because it's not supposed to be like that. Unto the Lord with the basket of unleavened bread, the priest shall also offer also his meat offering and his drink offering. Oh, they did it right there. And the Nazarite shall shave the head of his separation. So finally we get to the point. Look, but I have to point out here. Hold on. I gotta read through this again. I missed something. And a basket of unleavened bread, cakes of fine flour, mingled with oil, and wafers of unleavened bread, anointed with oil, and their meat offerings and their drink offerings. And the priest shall bring them before the Lord, and shall offer his sin offering and his burnt offerings, and he shall offer the ram for a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Lord with the basket of unleavened bread. The priest shall also offer the meat offering and his drink offering. Look at all of this stuff that has to be taken. When we get to Paul's, when we go to Acts, we're going to see that Paul goes through this. And what they say to Paul is they say, you pay for these guys to take the Nazarite vow. You pay this huge amount of goods in order for them to take their vow. Can you imagine? You make a vow and you have no means of paying for it. And only the rich can do it, because look at the excessive amount of goods. And somewhere in here it's going to say all of this plus your regular offering, plus anything else you want to give, which it's expected. It's expected. That's why I thought what I thought I had missed. That's why I had to read it again. But this is just the minimum. And the Nazarite shall shave the head of his separation at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall take the hair of the head of his separation and put it in the fire which is under the sacrifice of the peace offering. So you don't put it you don't put it on the altar as a sacrifice. No, it goes underneath the sacrifice, into the fire. What do we know about fire? How are you going to separate yourself from God? And not only are you going to put it in fire symbolically, you're putting it on the very fires of God. Is there a bigger wrath to come? But then the whole purpose of it is to defy God to his face, because it is a symbolic separation of God. So, hey, I mean, which is worse, doing it in real life or doing it symbolically? Both is the same results, basically. I put Ezekiel 5 in here anyway, so we can take a look at that and just compare. And the priest shall take the sun shoulder of the ram and one unleavened cake out of the basket. Hold on. I shouldn't have skipped these offerings. I would not have to do. So they cook the shoulder. So he's going to take, they take the shoulder, they cook it, of the ram, and one unleavened cake out of the basket, and one unleavened wafer, and shall put them upon the hands of the Nazarite after the hair of separation is shaven. So he gets his own shoulder there. And the priest shall wave them for a wave offering, a cooked piece of meat. How is it a wave offering? Oh my. And the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. Who's going to wave it? The priest or the Nazarite? I'm so sorry, you guys. I just breeze over these things. It's put in the hands of the Nazarite. And it's waved before the Lord, I guess outside in front of the door. It doesn't matter. It's not true. And the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. This is holy for the priest. With the wave breast, the heave shoulder, that's a lie. That's not real. This heave shoulder, I have to redo the widow in the New Testament on the tithe. There's just no getting around it. I left too much out. But if you look at the heave shoulder is a tithe. And I think I explained this when we did the tithe. You have your first fruits, which is just a small amount. But then the heave offering is when you have your harvest and you symbolically heave it up because it's so big and so great, right? So it's called your heave offering. That's the greatest part of your tithe, the 10%. So you can have your heave is your tithe, and then you tithe your tithe, of course, if you're a Levite, to the priest. So the heave shoulder would be in addition to the 10% tithe that is given, and you're only obligated to give 10%. So this heave shoulder in and of itself is false. It cannot be real, because then you would be tithing a second time, and that is not permitted according to the Bible. The Lord does not need your stuff. You have his stuff. So this cannot be called a tithe. I haven't looked into it too much, but I know it's not real. I just have to go and find the research and show you that it's not real. They do not get a heave shoulder. It violates the law that's set forth by the tithe, which is 10%. That's his stuff. That's his. Anything beyond that is an offering. So this cannot be part of the tithe because you've already given your 10% before these offerings are made. So let's continue. And let's just read it again. And the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. This is holy for the priest, with the wave breast and heave shoulder. And after that, the Nazarite may drink wine. So now he can go back to drinking wine. He's wholly separated from God, and he can do what thou wilt. Okay. This is the law of the Nazarite who hath vowed, and of his offering unto the Lord for his separation. Besides that, here, this is the extra part of the humongous amount of offerings they require in order to be a Nazarite. Besides that his hand shall get. So this is above and beyond what you must offer up here. According to the vow which he vowed. But they never tell you what the vow is. And he doesn't have to actually say it to anyone. They're going to, in the New Testament, I have to read Paul because I keep getting my understandings mixed up because it changed according to the way that they worded it. So he goes to the temple the next day, Paul does, and he either takes the vow there or he's taking his friends there in order to pay this humongous fee for them, even though Paul didn't have any money. So many lies. According to the vow which he vowed, so he must do after the law of his separation. Yeah, that's another lie they put in there, that you must do your vows. No, you're supposed to do your vows, but you're not going to do them. Listen, it doesn't take a whole lot of times for you to learn that you're not going to keep your vows to God. He tells you you're not going to keep them. He tells you there's going to be a time that comes when you vow a vow and you're going to keep it. Right now, you can't. You can't. He says just don't do it. So you do it. And then you break it. And then you do it again. And you break it. But after the second or third time, you realize, look, this isn't working out. And you just stop. You just learn to stop. So they've put all kinds of scriptures in the Bible saying, yeah, you must do your vows or you... no, they put at least one, maybe two, where you're going to sin and it's a sin or something like that. And look, let's just be for real. I mean, you're not supposed to just not do it. It's not right. But this sin thing, that all of this sin in here they've manifested, I'm not about to acknowledge that. You're supposed to do your vows. This is true. And then the Bible says, stop making vows. And we'll look at that. Actually, let's look at that now. Let's just go there. And let's go look at vows. Vows and oaths. It's only 9, so we should be able to read through these quickly. If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath, to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeded out of his mouth. I don't know if this is real or not, to be honest with you. I feel like it was fine, so I just left it in here. It's when they start pointing the finger at you and accusing you of sin and saying you're going to go to hell and stuff like that. When thou shalt vow a vow unto the Lord thy God, thou shalt not slack to pay it. Here we go right here. This is a lie. Oh, I didn't highlight it. You know why? Because usually I will leave these things out if it's a lie, because I don't want to take the time to investigate them and stuff like this. Yeah, this is a lie. And you can tell because their mind is wicked. When you vow a vow, it doesn't have anything to do with paying anything. If you vow a vow to pay something, then it has something to do with paying. But you can vow a vow without paying. But their wicked mind gave them away right off in this scripture. When thou shalt vow a vow unto the Lord thy God, thou shalt not slack to pay it. For the Lord, actually, I should look that up to make sure that's correct. Hold on. It doesn't matter. It's still wrong. To be in covenant of peace. To be at peace. One of a covenant of peace. To be complete, to be sound. To be safe. We're going to say that word is okay because I don't want to overthink this. Okay, so just ignore what I said. This is still wrong, but you'll see in a minute. When thou shalt vow a vow unto the Lord thy God, thou shalt not slack to pay it, for the Lord thy God shall surely require it of thee. No. And it would be sin in thee. No. But if thou shalt forbear to vow, it shall be no sin in thee. That's true too. I mean, that's true. But it's not a sin. The Lord tells you in the Bible, don't make vows because you're not going to complete them. It says don't do it because you can't change a hair on your head or something like that. We'll get to it in a moment. But you can tell that's not true because they start accusing you of sinning and stuff like that. At that time, the Lord separated the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, to stand before the Lord, to minister unto him, and to bless in his name unto this day. This word separated is different, though I don't recall why I put this in here. Let's see what it is. To divide, to separate, to sever. He set apart, which we know we are a set apart people. So, to divide. Okay. But it's different than the word that's used for the Nazarite. And I raised up of your sons for prophets, and of your young men for Nazarites. Is it not even thus, O ye children of Israel, saith the Lord? Did God raise our young men for Nazarite? This is just not true. He raised up of our sons for prophets. The young men were raised as Levites, not as Nazarites. Levites came from the family of Levi, and they were raised up for Levites. Nazarites require a vow. How are you going to raise up a young man to take a vow? Oh, wait, the lies of Samson, where you could just be born into a vow which you never made to God. Yeah, we're going to look at Samson, but we're going to We're going to separate that video because Samson is a lot. So I may do it though. I put it in here, so we're going to see if we can get it done. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if God will be with me and will keep me this day that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God. This is a vow. You see how it's stated out? If you do this for me, then this. This is the vow. We're going to see a lying vow in here. And this is it. I did not research this, to be fair. I didn't give it the attention that it required. But we are going to read through it, because there are some things that I read through and I saw were absolutely impossible. And so I'm just going to point him out. Japhet. And Japhet vowed a vow unto the Lord and said, and he's actually going to make a vow here, and said, if thou shalt without fail deliver the children of Ammon into mine hands, then it shall be that whatsoever cometh forth of the door of mine house to meet me, when I return in peace from the children of Ammon, shall surely be the Lord's, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering. Okay. This vow was made, and they defeated the children of Ammon, and his daughter comes out and meets him. Listen, what person in the world would offer their child? And the thing about it is he was devastated. Hold on. Then Japhet came to Mizpah unto his house, and behold, his daughter came out to meet him with timbrels and with dances, and she was his only child. Beside her he had neither son nor daughter. And it came to pass, when he saw her, that he rent his clothes and said, alas, my daughter, thou hast brought me very low, and thou art one of them that trouble me, for I have opened my mouth unto the Lord, and I cannot go back. Lies. No man is going to expect anything to come out of his door. No sane person is going to expect anything to come out of his door other than a person. Now look, maybe he has some marital problems. But if he had marital problems like that, he wasn't expecting his wife to come out and greet him. She'd have been chucking stones out the window. If he wanted to get rid of her in a vow, this was not the way to do it. I'm joking. I forget. You really can't joke with men today that much anymore. So I'm sorry if I offended you, but it's a funny joke. If you can handle that. Anyway. I'm sorry if that was offensive, but and I will offer it up for a burnt offering. Was he expecting a lamb to open the door? Really? Does anyone believe that? This is ridiculous. He never said this, and he certainly didn't say he's going to offer it up for a burnt offering. He just would have said, I'm going to offer it up. A lamb is a burnt offering. Anyway, so she's the good daughter, right? And it came to pass that when he saw her, okay, we read that. And she said unto him, my father, if thou hast opened thy mouth unto the Lord, do to me according to that which has proceeded out of thy mouth, for as much as the Lord hath taken vengeance for thee of thine enemy, even of the children of Ammon. And she said unto her father, let this thing be done for me. Let me alone for 2 months, that I may go up and down upon the mountains, and bewail my virginity and my fellows. So, of course, she could not they could not have sentenced her to death as a burnt offering. Even if she was a burnt offering, she was just taken to the temple, kind of like Samuel was. Because if she was sentenced to death, then why would she be bewailing her virginity as opposed to her life? this is just a case for the nunnery. It's a case for the nunnery. And the uncleanness is a case for the priesthood and the nunnery. The priesthood especially. The laws for men is just outrageous. As far as the uncleanness, it's just you cannot get around a priesthood in those laws. And this is the case for the nunnery. And he said, go. And he sent her away for 2 months, and she went with her companions and bewailed her virginity upon the mountains. Let's say if you're going to die, are you going to spend 2 months bewailing your virginity? You're not. You're not. You're not going to care about your virginity. And if you did, you just go out and have a relationship with a man for 2 months and then die. And it came to pass at the end of 2 months, but you're probably going to be worried about dying, to be honest with you. You're not going to be worried about that. And it came to pass at the end of 2 months that she returned unto her father, who did with her according to his vow, which he had vowed, and she knew no man. And it was a custom in Israel. And it was a custom in Israel that the daughters of Israel went yearly to lament the daughter of Japhet, the Gileadite, 4 days in a year. They had to lament her serving God 4 days in a year because she had to remain a virgin and serve God because of an oath that her father made. This whole story is ridiculous. Nothing like this happened in real life. No grown man is going to make a vow to either kill or offer up the person that walks out of his house to the priesthood forever. Why? Why would he do that? It's nonsense. I don't believe that this whole story is nonsense, by the way. It may be. I didn't investigate it enough. It seemed to have elements of truth to it that he might have made a vow. But this is not a vow. This is ridiculousness. People come out of doors. He could not have expected anything else to come out of the doors unless they had animals back then that knew how to unlock a door and turn a doorknob. But do not thou yield unto them. For there lie in wait for him of them. Let me try this again. This is in Acts. But do not thou yield unto them, for there lie in wait for him of them more than 40 men which have bound themselves with an oath, that they will neither eat nor drink till they have killed him. And now are they ready, looking for a promise from thee. Okay, it's me. It must be me. But at least they made an oath here. They made a vow, and you know what the vow is. You're told what it is and how long it's going to last. Again, we have heard that it has been said by them of old time. Whenever you see this right here, ye have heard, and Jesus is saying, he's telling you it's not true. He's about to correct a misunderstanding. Okay? Again, ye have heard that it has been said by them of old time, thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shalt perform unto the Lord thine oaths. But I say unto you, hold on. Let's look at some of the other ones because they have it here. Ye have heard that it has been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. You have to look at this word for to see the difference. This for is a conviction, like an judgment against the person. It's very judgmental as opposed to an eye for an eye. When you go back and you look at the definition of the eye for an eye, you can see that they're trying to teach the person right from wrong without judgment. It is literally trying to show them. This is more vengeful, and the other is more of like if a child took a cookie, you say, okay, listen, you tried to take her cookie, so now she gets to have one of your cookies. It's not, there's no vengeance in the other word at all. It literally gives the implication that you are trying to teach the other person. This one is exactly the opposite. You have heard that it hath been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And then he's going to tell you the correct thing. He's going to correct the understanding. You have heard that it has been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemies. Let me give you the correct understanding. This ye have heard, when you see it and you know it's something that's written, or you believe it's something that's written, he would say, it is written. So when he says you have heard, he automatically means, look, when they put a divorce in here, all of this is made up. They didn't even put it in the right format. I remember looking at this when we did divorce. When we did divorce, and I didn't want to research it properly. I'm getting a little bit braver in these studies. Oh, we're at 30 minutes already. I'm getting a little bit braver in these studies to where I'll tell you, but you're going to have to go and research it, because I just can't research everything. But I remember noticing that before, that he said, ye have heard, ye have heard, ye have heard. It's up here as well. Ye have heard. Ye have heard. He's correcting a misunderstanding in each of these. But when you get down here, they just don't even bother to put it in the right format. It has been said. No, this whole thing is just made up. It has been said. You should put away, but it's just made up anyway. So why bother? They signal themselves by doing these things. They're trying to keep up with their own lies. Let's read this real quick, because we're at 31 minutes now. Again, ye have heard that it hath been said by them of old time, thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shalt perform unto the Lord thine oaths. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. Neither shalt thou swear by thine head, because thou cannot make one hair white or black. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. So just don't do it. Just don't do it. Oh, I didn't mean to read all of that, so I put it in here twice. Anyway, let's see. Okay, that's everything. So let's go back to Nazarite. And okay, we read through all of this. I think that everything else can wait. Okay, that takes us to Paul. We'll do that, and then Samson. We just looked at that one. We don't really need this, but let's look at, here, let's read this just in case I didn't put it in the other one. And Paul, after this, tarried there. I did put it in another one, so let's just, anyway. And Paul, after this, tarried there yet a good while, and then took his leave of the brethren, and sailed thence into Syria, and with him Priscilla and Aquila, having shorn his head in Cinchera, for he, this word right here means currently had a vow. So he has shorn his head, but he was currently in the vow. And we just covered that you do not shave your head until after the vow is over. But I'm not going to spend too much time in that. I think I've got it somewhere else. And to speak unto the priests which were in the house of the Lord of hosts, and to the prophets, saying, should I weep in the 5th month, separating myself, as I have done these so many years? Speaking to all the people of the land, and to the priests, saying, when ye have fasted in the morning, the 5th month, 5th and 7th month, even though 70 years, did ye at all fast unto me, even to me? I can't remember my point with this. We're just going to skip it. But I will make a point that saying one thing and doing another is painfully obvious there. But I wanted to make some sort of point about the separation. I just can't remember what it is. So we're going to stop there. We're going to pick up, and we're going to we're going to go to Paul. Acts 21. That's what the next video is going to pick up at. I will talk to you in the next video.